No, your mama's house. Okay. I'm a rich. Whatever. Welcome back to. Damn. Okay. Since I'm better at this game, I'm gonna choose 9. Let's go random since I'm that Gucci. Banana. Okay, so here's a guide to every weapon in the game. Well, a lot of weapons in the game, and then I'll make like a fully fleshed out one later. Here's some gameplay of me normally playing the game. Okay, I'll start with this one. Normally, okay, actually, this is the powered version, so if you hold it long enough, it turns into this. Then if you let go, it does 2 long range, like, attacks like that. If you do the lighter version, it does 3, but it's shorter ranged. So it's better for medium and even better at short range. Now the katana, whenever you use the ability, it gets set on fire, and you get better turning speed on it, as well as the dragon comes out of it. I'm pretty sure it's a reference to Overwatch. If it's not, I'll be surprised. And oh, it did some major knockback. I have it set so that you don't immediately die when you touch lava or water, because I think that's kind of dumb. They instantly die. Okay, now this one. Touch something. When you throw this, you get grappled towards it. This can be redirected by the flails. Oh my. Okay. This can be redirected by the flail and the red ability of the gauntlet, as well, I think, as the purple ability of the battle axe and abilities like that. It is pretty good. It has amazing movement. Probably it's the best movement out of any any other item in the game. Portal is probably like the second best one. Nah, I'm dead in this one probably. Yep. I have barely any health. With the more like weapony weapons, like the medieval ones, you kind of want to shove it right in your enemy, like in their chest, because then it gets stuck. Now this one is quite complicated. It's one of the triple ability ones, like the card. This purple one throws a prison cage thing wherever the purple ball goes. The purple ball, until it reaches that purple ball, it can pass through any material except for the enemy, but you can pass through it freely until it touches the ground, or until it reaches that purple ball. The green ability, it makes a green ring around you. If the enemy touches this green ring, it'll be pulled towards you, which is amazing in combination with the purple, because then you can shove them into the purple wall, which does damage. So if you can see here, boom, you get stuck in it. Okay, and the red one, oh, it's a projectile, and if you, okay, well, that was fun. If you hit your enemy with it, they get sent upwards, which, if they're in a cage, they'll take damage from touching the top part. It also does quite a bit of damage normally. The best way you can use the red is if they're in a cage, or if you're below them, because then it like bounces them up and they keep getting hit. The guitar, it has the same 3 colors. Most of them have these colors, if not all of them. Green levitates you. like that. It's good for escaping water or getting out of situations. The red is the attack mode, like for most of them. It shoots out a like beam of red music notes that push your enemy back and do slight bits of damage. This weapon is mainly used for running away. I mean, it's best used when running away from your enemy and being annoying. And also if there's maps with water or things like the stamps, like the crushers. It's pretty good for those. The purple one, it's like a time stop, but it also stops you. You can use this so that if your enemy is trying to get back on a platform after they've been thrown out, you can stop time for both yourself and the enemy. And because it basically cancels all jump abilities, all jump, like your enemy can't jump after doing it. So if they already used it, if they already used their jump, then they'll go back into the water and take more damage. So if this guy tries to get up, I could just stop him, but he has a teleportation, so that's not gonna work. Levitate up here, and then do that. You can see it does a bit of damage. They might have buffed it, I'm not sure. This game is quite fun if you have friends, but okay, that was karma. Okay, anyway, the gun shoots 4 bullets, I think. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 bullets until it has to reload. It reloads automatically. You don't have to do anything. Its special ability is to shoot out 3 in a spread, and he just blocked it. So, oh no, you cannot use it to jump yourself. It's good for knockback. It's good for when you're close. It's good for when they're far away. It's a pretty decent weapon. This thing does tons of damage if you use it correctly. Its ability, well, normally it's already a good like basic weapon, but when you use the ability, you fly up in the sky, crash back down. You do not want to use this one above water unless you make sure that you will go back onto land. If you fall into water or lava while using this, you're basically done for, and if you do survive, all of your HP will be gone. It's just a bad idea. Very useful for knocking your opponents off of things, and if you land directly on them and they don't move away, it's a death sentence for them. This is a random map I made to test out the map editor. The boomerang, probably one of the most, if not the most OP ranged weapon. If you miss, it goes back to you and it might hit them anyway. As soon as it goes back to you, you can use it again. It can go through walls. It does quite a bit of damage. It does insane amounts of knockback. Aside from this is pretty tied with the bow, but I'd argue that this can be better because of like, bro, just look at that. Way better on maps that have like instant deaths, or you know. This thing, you've seen the enemy use it. Purple one, you shoot out a projectile that after a while you teleport to it. The green thing, you can make a shield that you can also step on. You can jump off of this, by the way, if you wanted to. You can use this to save yourself because, you know, if you time it right. The red thing is a projectile that explodes on contact with an enemy or object that an enemy creates. It also does nothing. And it's a fine weapon on its own without using any abilities. Anyway. Crossbow, exactly like the bow, except it shoots slower, and instead of shooting out multiple arrows when used, it shoots out 2 different types of projectiles. Now there's the purple one, which makes a gas cloud that if you are in it, it's like a smoke bomb and you become invisible. And also invincible. All projectiles and attacks pass straight through you. You don't take any damage. This thing, if it hits a wall or if it stays suspended in the air long enough, it will destroy itself basically and turn into multiple projectiles. The red projectile itself does not do damage. It only does damage when the things come out of it. The purple thing also deals damage of whoever steps inside of it, if it's not you. Yeah, range weapons are pretty good in this. Boots. Sorry for that. The boots are actually kind of doo-doo butter. Because you have to run straight at your enemy, it kind of sucks at blocking, and hitting enemies is sort of hard, so you want to jump up and strike them from the top, which is kind of hard sometimes, especially when the enemy has a ranged weapon. But it does quite a bit of damage if you manage to hit them, and the ability does the flail ability basically, except that you charge at your enemy, like so. Yeah, and if it hits anything, the ground, the enemy, a projectile they shoot, whatever, it will explode, deal knockback damage, all that good stuff. I probably lost this. Oh, by the way, if you're on a map that has no ground and you do this, and it doesn't hit anything, even if you get your ability again, I'm pretty sure, the next time you touch anything with your boots, it will explode. So you can save this for like a double attack if you're in the air for long. This again. Okay, Lollipop is kind of complicated, but not really. It has two different abilities. So, all of them. Okay, so look, if you charge, yeah, that's the second one I was going to talk about. But you charge forward, but there's three different outcomes. If you don't hit anything, it's just a charge, nothing else. If it hits the enemy's body, it will. Okay, that's what happens if it touches the weapon. But if it touches the body, that's the weapon again. I'm trying to touch the body of the. Okay. There we go. Yeah, it latches onto them and throws them around. And if you're lucky, and there's water or like something, or lava or whatever, you can potentially fling them into that and deal damage. If it hits the weapon, it charges up a projectile and shoots it out, similar to the orange ability of the gauntlet. When we see that eventually, as you can see, that is flung and it's gone. That's the Lollipop. This is different than the ice cream, by the way. Sword is a rocket sword. It's amazing on its own. You don't even have to use an ability to really do damage. When you use the ability, you just charge forward in whatever direction, actually not just forward, whatever direction you're looking at, including up. You can use that to get out of sticky situations. This again, I'll just skip it. This is the dagger. Oh, and that's the boxing gloves. They're pretty strong. Yeah, so the dagger is a it's okay normally, but because of its like shorter range than the other weapons, it kind of lacks. Now the thing that makes up for that lack of range, however, is that the ability gives you range. Now with this ability, you get 2 charges basically. It won't charge until you've expended both, and it's a dash. So see, I'll do this. Bam. You can do that once, twice, and then you have to wait for it to charge. This does quite a lot of damage. If you charge into an enemy, you can use it to save yourself from places. And if you manage to dash into an enemy and the weapon stays there, they're done for. Portal gun. You shoot one portal. That in this case is blue. And there, that's the green. And then it'll be blue again. Then it'll be green. If your enemy goes inside of it, or if you go inside of it, you teleport to the other one. This is good if you like, for example, place it here and then place it like in the water. You can then save yourself if your enemy walks into that green portal into the water. Another good thing about this weapon is that although it doesn't do that much, it's not a great melee weapon on its own. If an enemy stands inside of a portal, even if it's empty, they will take damage, and it doesn't immediately teleport them if they've already teleported. So they could do damage with flail, like I've been talking about. This then we do this. It makes an explosion type thing. Now this explosion does some pretty big knockback. Does damage, and you can use this back and move forward. You can use it as like a point of like rotation or something like that, and then you can swing off of it like a monkey. Use it to save yourself if you and your enemy are both like falling. I'll just skip over this. Okay. Now, finally, the bow. This is infuriating to play against, actually, but it has no reload. You can shoot it infinitely, and its ability just makes it shoot more, even faster. Even it actually like propels you backwards, so you can use it to get leverage on your enemy. You could use it to do tons of damage. These arrows do quite a bit of damage, and they do quite a bit of knockback. Especially like if you fly up into the air, you can just rain down damage. Do this, boom, 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 boom. It's one of the better ranged weapons. You know what? I'll just review the Ninja Star now, because I don't have much time. Boom, then shuriken. This one's a bit complicated, but you shoot it at your enemy. If the enemy blocks it, it does nothing. If it hits, it does quite a bit of damage and then powers up. It gets more like, yeah, as you can see, I hit the enemy and now it has an outline of my color. This will do more damage. If I hit the enemy again, the outline grows, right? So if I do that, boom, it grows, like it gets bigger, and then it gets even bigger, but like he blocked it. But after 3 shots of the shuriken, it turns into smoke, and then you can turn it to smoke. Mega Man thing has 3 modes. One of them, well, actually, normally it's a ranged weapon that shoots out these yellow petals. I'm pretty sure they can be changed, like the color changes based on what team you are, but I'm not sure. Then you got the green, the yellow, and the red mode. Yellow, by the way, this is random chance. Most of these are random chance, whichever you get. The yellow one, you throw it and it makes a like air thing that if you step in it, you or your enemy, you both like start levitating up as long as you're in it. The green one, it latches onto your enemy. The green one latches onto your enemy, and the red one, well, yeah, the green one latches onto your enemy. I think it's based on how low the enemy's HP is, but it knocks them around, and then it explodes, dealing a bunch of damage. The red one charges up, shoots out a beam that like the boxing gloves, if your enemy is stuck in it, they will take more damage, then they will be knocked further back as it stays with them. The pole thing I got last round, if you use it, it extends. It can normally pass through walls, but if you use the ability, it does not, and you can use it to like pull yourself up. Then you can use it to stop yourself from being hurt by water or lava because it's taller than that, and you won't drown, but you cannot jump off of it. The shield has 3 modes. The blue one makes it bigger and blocks more damage. The blue one, again, the green one, it's like the boomerang, but yeah, you throw it, boom. If you miss, it'll come back. Now, unlike the boomerang, I completely destroyed them there. Unlike the boomerang, however, even after a while of you not having it back, it will return. It will just teleport back to your hand. Where's the shield? Yeah, there it is. It will just teleport back to your hand. So let's say if I do this and then try to dodge it. Yeah, I smacked him in the face and then I just teleported to my hand. The red one shoots a air slash type thing, crescent shape, that deals damage, knocks your enemy back. Yeah, green is pretty neat because it does come back, and even if you miss, you can hit him on the way back. No. Okay. Didn't get a single red one there. I'll show you the red one in action here. Oh, yeah, against the grapple, this is the green one is pretty good. Actually, all of the abilities of the shield are good against the grapple because it'll just touch the grapple, run into the shield, and then or like the attack, and then die. Here's what that looks like. I'm gonna try to get like a direct on the enemy. Now, this apparently does not block the... Yeah, it does not block the lantern because the lantern is like phantom or whatever. It faces through it. Which is the strong thing about the phantom. I mean, the lantern. Now, yeah. Lantern is really strong. It's like my second favorite. The shield does help, though. But, yeah, it can be really detrimental to your own HP if you don't use it correctly. Now, if I could get a single red thing that I can actually use correctly, that'd be pretty neat. Or I could just do this. Affinity Gauntlet is also one of my favorites. Okay, I got the red. Oh, no. Okay, so here you go. Boom. Use that. That wave acts as a shield. Does damage, does knockback. Here it is again. Bam. Can block projectiles. Yeah, there, I got it again. Now, the thing is, this guy has a lot of shields going on as well, like with his red ability and the things that move my thing around. Yeah, so it's not as good. I'll show you actually what the Infinity Gauntlet does. Here. Okay, red makes a thing that looks like the bomb explosion from that one map, and reflects all projectiles, just like reflects all damage, bounces it back at your enemy, although I don't think it damages them. And while you have it active, you can't melee someone, it does no damage to them, but you can push them off things. The blue one is the Space Stone, the red one is the Reality Stone, but the Space Stone makes that black hole thing. The gravity well or whatever, it makes your enemy most projectiles and everything else fly into it. The enemy can escape it if they jump. It does get stronger, I'm pretty sure, the farther it goes. The reason I didn't take them was because there was something there. That's pretty much all there is to it. Although with the banana that goes out the bazooka, it is pretty funny because it flies straight into it and you can redirect it. As well as the grapple, it's a pretty hard counter to the grapple. Now the orange is like the red, the red from a bunch of different things. What the hell? Yeah, it's also like, it seems to be one of the rarer ones. Because I almost never get it. But it's like a projectile. It does a bunch of damage if you hit the enemy in the chest and it stays there. If you manage to hit it in a way where it will stay like on the enemy for a while, it'll do massive knockback and take over half of their HP away. Which is pretty strong, and I get why. If it is rarer, I understand why. It is really strong. The time one is one of the more disappointing ones, but I like it a lot still. Because it has some disadvantages and advantages to the purple of the guitar. Now the reason it's better than the guitar sometimes is because, well, first of all, you can move during this time stop. So let's say, yeah, boom, I time stop, and then I can still move during it. Now, one thing is that if both you and your enemy are falling down and you use the time stop accidentally, you are going to lose the rate, like the match because you will fall first and you will die first because of it. Now, one thing that is disappointing with the time stop is that your enemy can move their arms, which means they can block shots, right? So while you're in time stop, you can't get like free hits or anything. Time stop, even if you do time stop, you know, you might as well use it to run away because it's kind of hard to use it to attack. Like, this is one of the good uses for the space, right? They get dragged in. Oh, I didn't aim that correctly, but yeah, he can't jump, so he gets hurt. Boom. Purple, as you saw, shoots down meteors at, I think, randomly. It might have something to do with where you're facing, but I'm not sure. It throws down meteors. If your enemy like stays under a meteor, takes more damage, knocks your enemy down, or to the side, depending on where they got hit. Pretty strong. But, you know, there's a high chance you'll miss with like every single shot. And last one I'll show here. I'll show three more. I'll show like three more. This one. Okay, not a lot of people know this, but the purple. Okay, there's two. There's the purple and the green. With the purple, if you use it and you turn big and the glass turns empty, if the glass is empty, that means that when you let go again while you're in giant form, you can charge at your enemy, which is a combination of the lollipop and the axe. So you charge at your enemy, and then if you hit something, it explodes like the axe, like massive damage. The green does that gas cloud. It pushes everything away from it. It deals damage to enemies, but I'm pretty sure not yourself. No, it doesn't. It can be used to block projectiles because, you know, it like redirects them. The purple, whenever you're big, I think you get damage resistance, and you do a bit extra damage, I think. There. Yeah, it is really powerful against something like the saw because it requires you to be close. And then this thing, boom, punch, and it does massive knockback. If you get this again, if you are really aggressive with this thing, with the giant, you can fling yourself twice. Next up, these are gonna be the last few cards. There's three. Red, it gets stronger the farther it goes. It does have gravity, and if it hits something or lasts too long in the air, it will explode. The longer it stays in the air, the bigger the explosion will be. And if I do this, for example, right, I just throw it like basically straight up. When it falls down, it will be a nuke. Purple thing, if I hit my enemy with it, will be swapped. So if you hit your enemy with it, both you swap places, and they take a bit of damage. The green thing, you throw it at something, you throw it at someone or their weapon, locks that thing in place. Basically, they get like leaded onto the place where you hit them, so they cannot move far away from it. And they do take damage when you originally hit them. The red, I think, is pretty good for like throwing straight up because once it falls down, it pretty sure does more damage and has a larger like radius. So like boom. But it's like easier to hit because if your enemy has a melee weapon, they're done for. Because if they get close, bam, lock them in place. You know, throw a bunch of cards at them. But it is kind of hard to aim sometimes when you're just spamming. And it is good when it's spamming, when you're spamming it, but you know, it only is good if you hit them. I might show a little bit more. That's not the one though. Here, the Iron Hand. There's 3 different modes. Again, red, purple, and green. These are like the main ones. Purple shoots out a projectile like that bounces off of walls. Only like 2 times though. If you hit your enemy with it straight on in the chest, like most weapons, it will stay there and do a lot of damage. boing. Um, and you can like bounce it off walls, similar to the sniper, which is just like the bow except worse. Basically. Um, sometimes. The red, you shoot out flames that do damage if the enemy isn't pointing at you with their thing, with the weapon, because that counts as blocking. The green, wherever. Okay. This depends. If you do this and then you keep walking in that direction, it's huge knockback against the enemy, right? Now let me get it again real quick. If you let go in a specific direction, like right here, hold on. Let's say I aim it down and then boom. Yeah, I fly up in that direction. I fly towards that direction, I mean. So, and you can see here, knockback, bam. You can also knock back some objects if they aren't heavy enough. Boom. See that bounced off the floor, did damage to his legs. And I can fly. Pretty good. Paintbrush, let me show all the modes. If it hits nothing, it will make a box relative to the size of the stroke of the line, right, that you made. So if you went like that, bam, big box. It has a lot of weight, so maps dependent on weight like this will get tumbled over. It does huge amounts of damage if you're under it, if you touch it, anything. However, it does not do damage to you or the user. I mean, it does not do damage to the user, only the enemy, and you can jump off of this box. So if you throw it while you're in midair, it does fall faster than you, so you can then step on it and jump off of it. Okay, if it hits the enemy, it latches onto them. This can be done at the range of the line that it makes, so you do not have to be close to the enemy to do this. If the line touches them, you grab them. You can basically maneuver them. I don't know how much it depends on, like, but if they're going against you, it can be harder to move them. As you can see, right there. Boom. Box. Pretty powerful. If you hit the weapon, it's the same thing, except you're grabbing the weapon instead. If they have a throwable weapon, though, it can be quite bad, because then you'll just grab the weapon. But you can't throw it away, though. But if it comes back to them, then, you know, it'll just go back. If it hits a thing that is not a thing that the player made, like a previous object, right? So, like, these things that cannot be moved, it will make a wall. Okay, that's not what I wanted to do. That is not also, okay, look. If I touch this top thing with the line, let's say I do that. That is a wall. It blocks it doesn't block thing like ranged weapons, but the enemy cannot pass through it. You can jump off of it, you know. Now, if you're good enough, you can psych the game out, right? So I'll try to do it here, but the enemy's like bouncing me around. So you point it up, and then you go like straight up, and then it starts the line at the bottom, like the tip of your paintbrush. Actually, I think the line up, and it goes down, bam. And the enemy cannot pass through that, but you need some skill with this weapon to actually do that. Well, yeah. So if you want to do it, you aim at the thing, and then you look down, and then like that, bam. You shoot the thing, and then aim your paintbrush down, and it does that. Also, that's a thing to make your box bigger. If you want your box to be bigger, do that. Shoot it in one direction, then point in the opposite, which will make the line bigger and make a bigger and more destructive box. Let's do the lightsaber. Lightsaber also has 3 different modes, but they're not colors. The electricity is the paralysis mode. You shoot that, they get they have paralysis. They cannot move. This is the force, as indicated by the circles. It shoots out that does quite a bit of knockback, and does even more if they're moving in that direction. It does like multiplied. and especially if you hit them in the chest, it like touches them more and does more knockback. If you have this, that means this is the throwable mode, which acts just like the boomerang, except that you catch them. You catch the enemy, and you can even bring them towards you. All of these things go through walls. I'm pretty sure the paralysis does damage, the force does not do damage, and of course the throwable one does do damage. Also, the force can be thrown back with some moves. I want to see if the electricity does damage, just to make sure. Oh, you know, okay, the force does do damage. So I'm guessing the electricity does too. Well, guys, I didn't have a chance to test it out. Most complicated weapon by far is probably the scythe. It has a lot of factors to it. Every 5 seconds, pretty sure. Yeah, it makes up to 3. It makes 1 soul. I'm gonna call it a soul, right? That stays in the air. If the enemy touches it, they will take minuscule, like very tiny amounts of damage. Now, whenever you use this, right? Whenever you use this, the souls return to you. And when they touch you, they give you a certain amount of invincibility frames. You are invincible, like if I do this. It doesn't last very long, but you can avoid a lot of damage. You can pass through enemies also. Like you can just phase through them. Whenever you do a soul thing, whenever it touches you, well actually, whenever you use the ability, right, you make a gravity well effect on yourself, the enemy will be pulled towards you. Another thing, let me show it here. So I'll make a soul here, a soul here. If you want to make the best damage out of your weapon, you put 3 in that, right? Now here's the thing: when they return to you, they do extra damage on the way back, right? So, boom, right? Like most weapons in this game, you want to make sure that, okay, with the scythe, you want to make it so that the souls are in one place, and then you are in one place, and then your enemy is between. The farther the enemy is from you, the longer the soul will take to reach you, which means the longer it'll stay on the enemy, which means the more damage they will take. Now if I just do this and the enemy walks towards me, obviously if you were playing against a real person, they would try to avoid this. But boom. It's even better if you put them all in a specific place, because then even more damage, triple the damage. Boom, let me just place that there. Boom, instant death basically. You got 3 things in the same place and you're far enough away, especially on that map with like that's a flat map. It can literally insta kill, but that's rare. Can't do this though. Drag them. Pretty strong. Even if that guy makes it back, he's gonna have a hard time living because of. Oh damn. Well, he's dead anyway. That's pretty complicated, but whatever. I'll do one last thing. You're stunning. Okay. I will make a tier list, and then I'll review the bow like now after this, and then I'll make a tier list. Anyway, the ice cream, it shoots out a snowflake that turns into an icicle. Some people call it a mountain, but whatever. It's actually an icicle. I'm pretty sure it is. The snowflake by itself, the longer it stays on an enemy, the more damage the enemy takes. It is a very minuscule amount of damage, though. The real thing this is good for is when it touches a ground, like a ground or wall or whatever, right? If it does that, it makes an icicle. That's pretty huge. It has the same weight, I believe, as the box. Enemy cannot pass through it. You cannot pass through it. Let's see if you can jump off of it. Yeah, you can. If you place this under an enemy, they will get impaled and take tons of damage. You can use this to block access to certain things from your enemy. So if I did that closer to the edge, they would have just fallen back down. Like that. Well, not whatever. I could have done that better. Yeah, but that does quite a bit of damage. Use it to block access. If you do, You can make it act like the paintbrush box. So let's say I do this. Right? Okay. There we go. It's a bot. It's kind of stupid, but gotta do. Look, I'll show you. Here, right? On another map, it can be better, but it can, if you hit it like the ceiling, basically, it'll drop an icicle that works similar to the box from the paintbrush, like that. Bam, and then it drops the box. It can be used to block incoming shots, which most walls, well, not most walls, but like the paintbrush wall doesn't do. It's pretty good. Use that, block it off. You can jump off of it. Pretty neat. And then the bow. This is infuriating to play against, actually, but it has no reload. You can shoot it infinitely, and its ability just makes it shoot more, even faster. Even it actually like propels you backwards, so you can use it to get leverage on your enemy. You could use it to do tons of damage. These arrows do quite a bit of damage, and they do quite a bit of knockback. Especially like if you fly up into the air, you can just rain down damage. Do this, boom, 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 boom. It's one of the better ranged weapons. You know what? I'll just review the Ninja Star now, so I don't have much time. Boom, then, sure. This one's a bit complicated, but you shoot it at your enemy. If the enemy blocks it, it does nothing. If it hits, it does quite a bit of damage and then powers up. It gets more like, yeah, as you can see, I hit the enemy, and now it has an outline of my color. This will do more damage. If I hit the enemy again, the outline grows, right? So if I do that, boom, it grows, like it gets bigger, and then it gets even bigger, but like he blocked it. But after 3 shots of the shuriken, it turns into smoke, and then you can turn it to smoke. I'm pretty sure its time, its duration in smoke mode was nerfed, but during smoke mode you cannot be hurt. You cannot pass through walls, but you can fly. Yeah, you cannot pass through walls, but you can fly. And while you're inside of an enemy, they take damage. I think the amount of time you can spend in it is, I think, calculated based on like the amount of movement you did it during it, but I'm not sure. Because like it seems like sometimes I can last up to like 5 seconds, and sometimes I can stay for a while. Yeah, like that I stayed longer for some reason. Maybe the faster you go, the longer you stay in it or something. Like, because you can't jump while you're in it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. The faster you go in it, the longer you stay in it. And you do deal damage. Let me show that while you're in it. Oh, I couldn't do it, but throw some of these. It does a little bit of damage. And that's all for now. Okay, I will be making a more in-depth guides to like individual weapons, strategies, more specific details on how they work. Things I usually do with them, you know. The tier list will be a separate video. In fact, I might, at the end of each like individual episode, I might like put it in a ranking and give it stats similar to Stan Stats or something. If you haven't watched JoJo, it's like a circle thing that, you know, shows stats from A to E, but the things will be ranked into a tier list, and they'll have stats from S being like the best overall, like the best in the game, of that specific task, and then E is the worst at that specific task. And then A is really good, B is good, C is mediocre, D is bad, and again, E is the worst. So I'll be making that a separate video. This video is already long enough, so you know. I'm gonna make a compilation of some cool plays or whatever. I don't know. Have nothing to do right now. Well, that's all. I'm gone.